Your divorce is going to end in one of two ways. Either you and your spouse decide what happens, or a judge who doesn't know you, your kids, your finances, decides for you. And I've seen both endings many times, and they look very different. When people sit across from me in my office, they usually ask, how long is this going to take? But what they really mean is, how bad is this going to get? Because they don't know if they're heading towards a peaceful agreement or a full-blown courtroom battle. But here's the part that nobody tells you. If you don't understand how your divorce is likely to finish before it even starts, you can accidentally push it towards trial without meaning to. I've seen couples who were close to an agreement end up spending thousands of dollars simply because they didn't have a strategy. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you two ways divorces finish in Washington, the difference between contested and uncontested cases, and how to position your divorce so you don't lose control of the outcome. My name is Charlie Shane, and I'm a Washington State divorce lawyer. I help people navigate the troubled waters of divorce all the time. Let me tell you about two cases I've handled. So in the first case, the spouse came to me and they did mediation before they even filed the divorce. They identified the issues. We worked together to identify the property and all the aspects of the divorce. And we put together an agreement, and 91 days, which is the earliest you can complete a divorce in Washington State, they were done. They had a parenting plan, they had the property divided, child support, everything was figured out, and they were both able to quickly move on with their lives. But in the second case, we have a couple who could not agree on a single thing. Every issue became a fight. Temporary orders, discovery, motions, mediation, trial prep. They couldn't agree on anything, and they fought with each other on everything. And that case lasted well over a year. And we're talking about the same court, the same laws, the same jurisdiction, even the same judge. But two cases took completely different paths. Most people don't think about how their divorce will finish. They focus on reacting to each disagreement. They argue over child support. They fight over who keeps the house. They let emotions drive their decisions. And before they realize it, they're deep into litigation. In Washington, you have to wait a minimum of 90 days and can't file final pleadings until the 91st day. That is the mandatory waiting period. But 90 days is just the minimum. If your case is uncontested, meaning you can reach an agreement, you can often finish right after that period. But if it's contested and unresolved, you move into the litigation. This means motions for temporary orders. That's where the court decides the ground rules for when your case is pending. We're talking about maintenance, child support, parenting plans, or even temporary division of property. These temporary orders hearings are decided by declarations. Then you go to mediation or settlement conferences. And possibly, if everybody agrees, you go to arbitration. But if all of that fails, you go to trial. And I will tell you, trial is expensive, it's stressful, and it puts you and your children's future and your property's future into the judge's hands. The real question really isn't, is this case contested or uncontested? It's, how is this case going to finish? But even contested cases often settle before trial. In fact, I would say most of my cases end up settling before trial. When I work with clients, we focus on identifying early whether a realistic agreement is possible, handling temporary orders strategically, not emotionally, and using alternate dispute resolution such as mediation or a settlement conference to resolve the case before trial whenever possible. That's how you shorten timelines, that's how you reduce costs, And most importantly, that is how you maintain control. At the end of the day, your divorce will finish in one of two ways. You decide how it finishes, or the court decides how it finishes. If you need additional assistance or have questions about your specific situation, let's schedule a strategy session with my office. We'll spend about an hour walking you through the circumstances and helping you to understand which path your case is heading towards and how to position it for the best possible outcome. Follow the instructions next to this video to schedule your strategy session.